पंजाब टेलीविजन देख रहे सारे ही दर्शकों को बहुत प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल नमस्कार। उम्मीद करते हैं तुहाडा अज दा दिन और हफ्ता बहुत ही सुखावा चल रहा होगा। मैं तुहाडा अपना मनन गुप्ता। जी हाँ, तुसीं जुड़ चुके हो रोड टुडे 360 प्रोग्राम के नाल। रोड टुडे मीडिया ग्रुप की एक्सक्लूसिव पेशकश फॉर पंजाब टेलीविजन और इस प्रोग्राम के साडी कोशिश होंदी है तुहाडे तक ट्रकिंग, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, ट्रैफिक, ट्रांजिट और ऑटो वर्ल्ड की दुनिया दी खबरां लैके आईयां जान। प्रोग्राम नूं तुसीं पसंद करते हो ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਛਲੀਆਂ ਐਪੀਸੋਡਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਗਰੁੱਪਸ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀਈਓਜ਼, ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟਸ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਫਾਰਮੂਲੇਟ ਉਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੂਰ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਤੀਜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਸੇ ਲੜੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ, ਉਚੇਚੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੋਂ ਆਟਵਾ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਨੇ ਟਰਕਿੰਗ HR Canada ਦੇ CEO Angela Splinter। So ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। Angela, welcome to Road Today 360.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to see you in different community events, industry seminars, and it's a great honor to have you in our studio today.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Absolutely. So I know about Trucking HR Canada, what it does, but for our viewers, those who might not be aware of what this organization does and what is its mandate. So please give a little overview of Trucking HR.
Sure. So Trucking HR Canada, HR being short for Human Resources, is a national organization. We're a not-for-profit organization. We look at all the human resource issues that are impacting the trucking industry. Different challenges, whether it's the driver shortage or something else. We look at it from a national perspective. We work with different associations. We also work with the federal government to address these needs and to help the industry.
Okay, so when you mentioned you work with different associations, you mean provincial associations, the trucking associations?
Yes, so the different provincial trucking associations across the country, the national associations, regional associations. There's a lot of different groups that we work with in meeting our mandate.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Trucking HR Canada was previously known as Canadian Trucking Human Resource Council.
Correct.
Right? So
Yes.
how did this name change happen to Trucking HR Canada?
Well, I actually started in this role in 2011, and at that time there was a change to the funding model.
Okay.
The previous council was largely 99%
Okay.
is largely funded by the federal government. So they changed the funding model. I just took that opportunity to go out to the industry, ask them what is it that we do that is relevant,
Right.
making sure it is relevant, because we had to adapt and we had to come up with a new approach moving forward.
Right.
And it became clear that the industry was looking for a change. They were looking for a fresh approach to human resource issues. So that led to the establishment of Trucking HR Canada.
Okay. And like you mentioned, it is funded by the federal government. So
Well,
with the new
yes.
governments, do you see the transition still supporting the cause?
Yes, government funding is still a large percentage of our funding, but we've diversified so that
Okay.
we're not fully dependent.
Okay.
And we've also diversified within government. So we have different funding relationships with provincial governments, with 3 different federal departments, so that we're meeting our mandate. But we also generate revenue in other ways, whether it's through consulting or some of the products that we have. Really, we just want to be a sustainable organization
Very true.
and continue to provide value to the trucking employers.
Okay. So having an overview of the HR practices in Canada, focusing on trucking and transportation sector,
Yes.
what kind of challenges does your organization comes face to face with?
There's a lot of different HR challenges. Certainly in the last couple of years, the driver shortage has been front and center, so we have focused a lot on that. We see challenges with a lot of small and medium-sized fleets that don't necessarily have large HR capacity within their organization.
Right.
So we work with them on the soft HR, recruitment, retention, job descriptions, interviewing, how they can really approach HR to help their business
Right.
thrive. So we see those as different issues. There certainly is a change in the workforce in Canada. It's a changing workforce. It's not that traditional labor pool that we've seen. So that's an issue, absolutely. And trucking is not immune. So we just need to work to make sure that we're adapting to these changes.
Right. No, that's a very important key aspect of adapting to the changes, because if the industry doesn't change with the new demographics, it becomes a bigger challenge to handle.
Absolutely, and you certainly want to be at the forefront of addressing some of these changes and making sure that you're not being reactive, you're being proactive in your HR approaches.
Right. So when you deal with different associations and the larger, small, medium-sized trucking fleets, do they need to be a member of Trucking HR Canada? How do they approach Trucking HR?
Sure, no, we're not a membership-based organization, which lends us to working really well with the provincial associations.
Right.
We work with all fleets. You don't have to be a member of associations to do that work with us, but they certainly bring us that reach. And there's certainly value to what we're providing to employers, so they see value in promoting our work and partnering with us. I don't think I would have this many partners if they didn't see the value in what we're doing. So our reach extends beyond.
Okay.
And our structure is such that we don't have members.
Okay. So is there a board of governors or is there an advisory council which manages or directs the direction of your organization?
Yes, I have a board of directors. It's a small board of directors. We started it small on purpose when we did that transition from the old organization to the new. We wanted to make sure we were doing the right thing and even succeed and make sure that we were able to become a sustainable organization. So the board of directors now is still small at 6. David Bradley, who is still the head of the Canadian Trucking Alliance, is my chair of the board. And I have different HR people from across the country. I have an HR, Patricia Harknett, who is the head of HR at Midland Transport. I have some different allied trade, so Transcor, Link Logistics, Claudia Milicevic, and Angelique Maggi comes from the insurance side. And Mike McCarran is also on my board of directors. And another woman, the organization might be not known as well here, Westpac. That's a Western organization. So the Western Transportation Advisory Council, and the head of that organization is Oksana Excel, and she represents Western interests on our board.
Right. Well, and illuminous, body of the industry, they are your stakeholders. So definitely, we wish all the very best to Trucking HR. Now, you mentioned that there are, new challenges out in the industry, and I see you at many industry events, seminars. You are a sought after speaker. So when you go out to these events, what do you propose, or what do you promote?
Well, it depends on what that organization or audience is looking for, but we certainly are seeing trends. And right now, the need to recruit young people, getting more millennials is the term, those under 35 basically, but just getting more young people into the industry. And we're seeing as well the issue around managing the different generations within the workplace, those fleets that are getting the younger people coming in, the tensions. So that is certainly a trending topic, getting more women into the industry and other underrepresented groups within the workplace. So the aging workforce, while it has certainly caused a shortage of drivers, and shortages in other occupations for that matter, we're seeing that trend as well. More anecdotally, we can't quantify that, but from HR people, we're hearing that, they're experiencing these shortages with getting senior managers or that type of thing. But certainly just other underrepresented groups within the industry with this aging workforce presents other issues that we're seeing trends around.
Very good. I'm glad you mentioned about engaging youth and bringing them to the forefront. The millennials, they are the most challenging part. So recently there was a survey initiated by Trucking HR Canada to seek the opinion of employers as well as the employees. So how do you see those results coming in?
Well, it's very interesting. The survey is still open. So actually, anyone who's listening, employers or young people, we do want to hear more from people within the industry, because the lack of young people in the industry is our concern, which led us to developing these surveys so that we can get a handle on what the real challenges are so that we can effectively address them. Concerning trends are starting to emerge. While the surveys are still open, but a concerning trend of the young people that currently are in the industry plan on leaving. And we're probing the reasons why, and it is quite interesting. That's why we want to hear from more people on the survey so that we can really gauge, is this a trend that's happening within the industry? But certainly something I think we should be concerned about at the outset, that the young people we've managed to get coming in are planning on leaving.
Wow, that's a very, tough challenge to take care of, but very important, timely as well. When we talk about shortage of manpower, the workforce in trucking, normally people talk just about drivers. But I do understand that there is other categories of people or positions which are still, lacking efficient professional workforce. You talk about technicians, you talk about dispatchers, you talk about admin staff, covering.
Absolutely.
So does Trucking HR Canada also promotes those different professional?
Absolutely. It's certainly something all workplaces need to be looking at. All of your talent needs to be appropriately managed, but we know drivers are still the largest occupational grouping the main area of focus, but those occupations that are supporting the drivers are also equally as important. And we want fleets, when you're looking at human resources generally, it's looking at your entire workforce.
You're right.
So we want people to take that holistic approach.
Right.
Looking at things like succession planning. I often use that as an example for some of those key occupations, not just your drivers, but your mechanics, your safety personnel, your trainers. They take a couple of years to really become proficient in their role. So you need to be planning ahead to make sure you're filling those positions. So it is part of a holistic approach to human resources.
Very good. I know there is also need for more women folks to come into trucking and transportation. We'll talk about that after the break. But before that, I wanted to have a quick overview of what is the status of having veterans join the trucking and transportation industry. I know a couple of I think last year you had made a big announcement in partnership with Ministry of Transportation that how we can utilize their services.
Yes, that was recognizing their driver skills so that they could just streamline in getting their license. There are several fleets that are working to bring veterans in. I'm not directly involved in that, but I know that it remains an area of focus. It's a group that lends itself well or can transition well. They have the same skill set that we're seeking in trucking, similar working conditions. So I know that 3 fleets, as one example, are having success in bringing in transitioning military personnel. The last numbers I had on that topic specifically, there was an average of 5,000 transitioning personnel on an annual basis. So not a large pool, but still a labor pool to tap into.
Absolutely, and knowing the fact that they have been trained so well in doing other administrative duties and being, disciplinary, being more disciplined, being more punctual, those things actually help the trucking industry as well.
Absolutely, and positions other than just drivers too. They are technicians and mechanics, and they're used to working with heavy equipment, so the skill set certainly is a match as well.
Absolutely. ਸਾਡੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਐਂਜਲਾ ਸਪਲਿੰਟਰ ਜੋ ਕਿ CEO ਨੇ ਟਰਕਿੰਗ HR ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਈਡ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਨਾਟ ਫॉर ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਬੇਸਡ ਇਨ ਆਟੋਵਾ ਹੈ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਵੱਖਰੀਆਂ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੱਖਰੀਆਂ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਲਟੀਮੇਟ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਟਰਕਿੰਗ ਔਰ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਰੋਡ ਟੂਡੇ 360 ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ